Picture this: giant bony plates running down a massive back and a tail ending in fearsome spikes. Instantly, you know the dinosaur, Stegosaurus. It's one of the most famous dinosaurs on Earth, plastered on lunchboxes, starring in movies. But how much do we really know about this Jurassic giant? Those iconic plates, their true purpose has baffled scientists for over a century. And that tiny brain? Maybe it wasn't as simple-minded as you think. Welcome back, fossil fanatics, to Dinosaur Anatomy. Today, we're peeling back the layers on the incredible Stegosaurus. Forget the cartoons. We're diving into the real science, the bizarre anatomy, and the shocking facts behind this armored enigma that roamed North America around 150 million years ago during the late Jurassic period. Get ready, because the Stegosaurus story is weirder and way more fascinating than you imagine. Let's start with the most obvious feature, those plates. Officially called osteoderms, bones embedded in the skin, they weren't directly attached to the skeleton. Imagine giant, bony scales, arranged in two alternating rows down its back, not the neat double row you often see in old drawings. And they weren't solid, heavy armor either. Fossilized plates show they were riddled with channels and tunnels. So, what were they for? For decades, the go-to answer was defense. Makes sense, right? Big plates protecting its back from predators, like Allosaurus. But there's a problem. These plates were relatively thin in places, filled with those channels, and might have been quite fragile against a multi-ton predator's attack. Plus, they left the sides and belly completely exposed. Not exactly the best shield design. Then came the thermoregulation theory, the radiator idea. Those internal channels, they housed blood vessels. Paleontologists proposed that Stegosaurus could pump blood through the plates to cool down on hot Jurassic days, like giant biological cooling fins. Or maybe absorb heat from the sun on cooler mornings. It's plausible. Many large animals today use specialized body parts to manage heat. But could this complex structure solely be for temperature control? The debate raged. More recently, the idea of display has gained serious ground. Think peacock feathers or deer antlers. Those big, possibly even colorful plates. We don't know their real color, but it's possible. Could have been all about showing off, making the Stegosaurus look bigger and more intimidating to rivals or predators, helping individuals recognize members of their own species, maybe even attracting mates. The plates could have been flushed with blood, changing color for social signaling. Imagine a Stegosaurus blushing. While maybe not blushing, a color change is feasible. This display theory elegantly explains the size, the blood vessel network, and maybe even the alternating arrangement, making the profile look even larger. It's likely the plates served multiple roles, maybe some passive defense, some thermoregulation, but with display being a major, perhaps primary function. The mystery isn't entirely solved, but display seems like a key piece of the puzzle. Now, let's move to the other end of the Stegosaurus, the business end. The tail. Specifically, those four menacing spikes, properly called the Thagomizer. And yes, that name has a hilarious origin. It comes directly from a 1982 Far Side comic by Gary Larson, where a caveman lecturer points to a diagram of the spikes, saying, "Now this end is called the Thagomizer, after the late Thag Simmons." Paleontologists loved the name so much, it actually stuck and became the informal, widely accepted term. Unlike the plates, there's strong evidence the Thagomizer was absolutely a weapon. These spikes were solid bone, sharp, and positioned perfectly to be swung laterally by powerful tail muscles. The proof? A fossilized Allosaurus tail vertebra, with a puncture wound that perfectly matches the size and shape of a Stegosaurus Thagomizer spike. It even shows signs of infection, meaning the Allosaurus survived the encounter, but got seriously tagged. Stegosaurus wasn't just a passive armored tank. It could actively and lethally defend itself. Imagine that tail whipping around. Thwack! A predator getting hit square on would suffer devastating injuries. Okay, let's address the elephant, or rather, the dinosaur, in the room, the brain. Stegosaurus is famously cited as having a brain the size of a walnut. And yes, its brain was incredibly small for a creature that could weigh over 5 tons and reach 30 feet long. The brain cavity suggests a brain weighing only about 80 grams, or 3 ounces. But does small brain equal stupid? Not necessarily. Brain size relative to body mass matters, but so does structure and the animal's ecological niche. Stegosaurus was a slow-moving, bulk-feeding herbivore. Its intelligence requirements were different from a fast, agile predator. It needed enough brain power to find food, avoid danger, using that Thagomizer, and reproduce. Clearly, it was smart enough to survive successfully for millions of years. And what about the infamous second brain? For years, scientists noted an enlarged cavity in the hip region of the spinal cord. This led to the popular, but incorrect, theory that Stegosaurus had a supplementary brain back there to control its hind legs and tail. Think about it. A creature that large might need faster reflexes back there, right? Well, no. This cavity isn't unique to Stegosaurus. Birds have a similar structure called the glycogen body, which stores energy-rich glycogen, not nerve tissue. It likely served an energy storage function, perhaps fueling those powerful tail muscles for the Thagomizer swing. But it definitely wasn't a second brain. One walnut-sized brain was all it had, and all it apparently needed. So, what was life like for Stegosaurus? It was a low browser, likely feeding on cycads, ferns, and other ground-level vegetation. Its teeth were small and peg-like, not great for heavy chewing, suggesting it might have swallowed vegetation whole, or perhaps used gastroliths, stomach stones, to help grind food, though direct evidence for gastroliths in Stegosaurus is debated. Some studies suggest it might have even been able to rear up on its hind legs, using its tail as a brace, to reach slightly higher vegetation, expanding its menu options. Imagine this multi-ton, plate-backed giant pushing itself upwards. Let's quickly recap some Stego facts and myths. Myth: plates in a neat double row. Fact: alternating rows. Myth: plates purely for armor. Fact: likely multifunctional, with display and maybe thermoregulation being key. Myth: second brain in the hips. Fact: nope, likely a glycogen body for energy storage. Fact: the Thagomizer was named after a cartoon and was used as a weapon. Fact: Stegosaurus likely had cheek pouches, like some other ornithischian dinosaurs, to help keep food in its mouth while chewing or processing. Stegosaurus fossils were first discovered and named by the famous paleontologist Othniel C. Marsh in 1877, during the height of the Bone Wars, in a period of intense and competitive fossil hunting in the American West. Its bizarre appearance immediately captured public and scientific imagination, cementing its place as one of the world's most beloved dinosaurs. Even with all we know, Stegosaurus holds on to some secrets. The exact combination of functions for those plates is still debated. Did different Stegosaurus species have different plate shapes for recognition? How social were they? This plate-backed marvel reminds us that even the most familiar dinosaurs can still surprise us, offering glimpses into a world ruled by biological solutions almost too strange to believe. It wasn't just a walking fortress, it was a complex animal, balancing defense, display, and survival in the harsh Jurassic landscape. What? Do you think the Stegosaurus plates were mainly for defense, cooling, or showing off? Let me know your theory down in the comments. If you enjoyed digging into the anatomy of this iconic dinosaur and want more prehistoric deep dives, smash that like button, subscribe to Dinosaur Anatomy, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Thanks for watching, and keep those questions unearthed.